Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United are in advanced transfer talks with Gareth Bale, and also we've had a big new signing which is absolutely fantastic. It's a shirt sleeve sponsor. It's Kohler, the kitchen manufacturers in America. But let's talk about Gareth Bale because this has sort of come out in the last hour or so. It's from the Manchester Evening News. The journalist is James Robson, and he's effectively saying that Manchester United are in advanced talks with with Real Madrid in relation to Gareth Bale, and ultimately Gareth Bale will have the deciding factor on whether he leaves Real Madrid and whether he comes to Manchester United or not. Now, I've got a number of issues with this straight away. I'm going to say that, look, I'm taking this with a pinch of salt, and I'm sure a lot of you will, but we'll talk about whether Gareth Bale to Manchester United makes sense or not. But first things first, is it not an issue that only yesterday we were hearing that Real Madrid are going to build their team around Gareth Bale and they've only just sold Ronaldo? So how likely is it that Real Madrid would win a Champions League, Zidane goes, Ronaldo goes, Bale goes? The job's hard enough as it is without replacing players of that quality. So that's one concern. My second concern is this not coincidental that a paper based in Manchester leaks out a very positive story that Manchester United fans will take positively only a couple of days after there's a lot of negativity around that we weren't even in for Ronaldo. And we've seen this happen before. And I'm not saying it's coming from the club at all, but we've seen this happen before. After bad results, after bad transfers that have not gone our way, we get a big news story that everyone suddenly makes them think, oh, United can do anything, and then we end up with Willian. So that's a little bit of a concern as well. And thirdly, I mean, what? How much would Gareth Bale cost? I mean, Ronaldo's just gone for £100 million and Gareth Bale is younger and will be more valuable. And I think they've let Ronaldo go on the cheap because of what he's achieved for them. I don't think Gareth Bale goes on the cheap. And again, it's Manchester United dealing with Real Madrid, which would be very, very difficult. And then fourthly, if we were to sign Gareth Bale for like 150 million quid, do you really think Anthony Martial's staying at the club? So that's another thing for me as well, is that even if there's any truth in this Bale deal, if Bale comes to United, it's probably bye-bye to Anthony Martial. And is that what you want to see? 22-year-old leaving the club who's got potential to be one of the world's best, coming in for a 29-year-old who is a little bit injury-prone and is coming towards the end of his best. So, I mean, if we sign Bale, I'll be excited by it. But actually, if it's at the expense of Martial, I don't think it's a great deal anyway. But there we go. So Manchester United in advanced talks with Real Madrid for Gareth Bale, and it's up to Gareth Bale if he wants to leave or not. Which would suggest, I mean, I also think the article is, it's fine, got no problem with it. But I think it's also hedging its bets as well, because if it comes off, you can say, yeah, we were right about it. If it doesn't come off, you can say, well, Gareth Bale didn't want to come. So it's a good article in the sense that it gets people interested, but actually, if it goes either way, you're safe and you're covered. And also, Gareth Bale has made no secret of the fact in the past that he wants to stay in Spain and he wants to stay with Real Madrid. And I think if Real Madrid want him to stay, then he will stay at Real Madrid. I don't think there's any doubts about that. Casey says still depressed about England. Not everyone's going to be. Salish says this is not happening. United need to keep Martial, says Mazad Rahman, and we don't want Sanchez, says Carl Fulham. We've already got Alexis Sanchez. It's not about whether we want him or not. Bale would be great for United, says the crazy lunatic, and swap Bale for Mourinho, says Frank Evil. Life's good. I don't think Mourinho would do much of a job on Real Madrid's wing, to be honest. Why pay the same amount for Bale when we could have signed Ronaldo, says Notorious Nerd. Again, I think that's another interesting thing as well. Why would Manchester United be in for Gareth Bale and not be in for Ronaldo? It doesn't make any sense. Ronaldo's better than Bale. All right, there's a 4-year difference, but actually I would argue that I think that Ronaldo, even though he's 4 years older than Bale, will probably be still playing at the high level when Bale comes to the end of his career. So it doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, maybe Manchester United have prioritised Bale. Maybe Bale's the signing that Manchester United wanted to make above anything else. But I'll believe it when I see it. And actually, the same article in the Manchester Evening News mentions Willian. And I think that's where Manchester United are at the moment. I think in relation to transfers, I saw this morning Fulham signing Seri. We weren't in for him anyway. I've seen West Ham doing a lot of good business. these are teams doing a lot of business, and it leads you to the question, why are Manchester United not doing a lot of transfer business at the moment? And there can only be two conclusions there. One, we're not going to do any more business, which I don't agree with. And two, that a lot of the business we're trying to get done has involved people who are playing in the World Cup or were playing in the World Cup latter stages, i.e. I think Willian. But Chelsea are about to get a new manager, and I'm hoping that Sarri, who's going to go to Chelsea as their manager, will want to keep Willian, and Willian will want to stay at Chelsea, because I don't really want Willian at Manchester United. He's a good player, but I don't really want him there for a number of reasons. One, he's 30 in August, and two, we're buying somebody else's player again. We're buying a rival's player again, like we did with Matic, and I don't want us to keep doing that. And it's Chelsea as well. These are Mourinho. This is Mourinho's old job. Chelsea, stop taking players from your old job and build something new. There's plenty of talent out there. There's so many good wingers out there. Leon Bailey, Christian Pulisic, to name two really good young players that are going to be world beaters that United normally traditionally would be going for, and we're linked with bloody Willian. I nearly said Willian. We're linked with Willian, who's 30 in August. Go and get Leon Bailey. Go and get Pulisic. Go and do something what this club's all about. Or start playing Tahith Chong. He's going on the US tour. Start giving him some game time. I don't want Willian at Manchester United. Gareth Bale, I'd put up with Gareth Bale. I'll put up with Gareth Bale. I'd accept Gareth Bale because he's world class. And yes, he's getting close to 30, but he's world class. But I don't want Willian at Manchester United. Please, no. Look at Fellaini. I don't know why I need to that. Third option, it's taking too long to get deals over the line, says Will Desart 106. Yeah, I mean, but that could be because these players that we're looking at are part of the World Cup. I mean, Alexandro's not part of that, but I think that is probably linked with Juventus. I mean, I hope we're going to get Alexandro done. I mean, I don't want to dwell on the World Cup too much, but England last night, you look at what Croatia did from minute one. They targeted the left-hand side of England's defence, which is Ashley Young. You watch Manchester United last season, how many teams targeted our left-hand side, our left-back position, which is Ashley Young. And what Ashley Young does going forward, which is good, doesn't compensate for the fact that opposition teams, whether it's England or Manchester United, see that left-back position or left wing-back position as an open door to get at England and Manchester United. And Mourinho talks about stability in the defence, freeing up the midfielders and the attackers to be more offensive. But how is a defence ever going to be stable, no matter what centre-back you sign, if your left-back is effectively a former right winger? And we need a left-back. And to me, the best option out there is Alexandro. And I'm hoping, I mean, I hear people saying, well, there's no credible links that United are in for Sandro. Well, I saw an article with Damarcio talking about it yesterday. We've had a few other people talking about it. I think United are in for Sandro, and I think it's because Juventus have had all hands on deck dealing with a massive deal for them, which is Ronaldo. And once that deal's done, we can get Alexandro. It's not looking great for the US tour because we fly out on Sunday, which is frustrating. You want new players on the US tour. You want players who are leaving, not on the tour. Daley Blind, we're hearing, could be done in the next 48 hours to Ajax. That would be a real boost. I mean, it's not anything to write home about because Blind and Darmian, we pretty much have known all last season they're going to go, but they need to go sooner rather than later. And I don't want to see them on the US tour because it takes up players for the youth. But if we can get Blind out the door and we can get Sandro done in the next week, that would be at least something. Prince Isaac says he wants Luke Shaw to stay at Manchester United. I like Luke Shaw, but I'll say this and I'll keep saying it. If Luke Shaw stays, we won't sign a left-back because he will be the understudy to Ashley Young. Mourinho is never going to play Luke Shaw ahead of Ashley Young. He had an opportunity to do it last season and he chose to bring Ashley Young back into the team. In Mourinho's mind, Luke Shaw's not better than Ashley Young. So if we don't want Ashley Young at left back, we need to sign a left back. When do you think the next signing's coming in? Says Casey Teeling. I think we will do a deal in the next week. I think Manchester United will do a deal in the next week or so, i.e. next week probably. I don't see anything happening before the weekend and the US tour now, but it'd be great if something does. Sulai says he thinks Luke Shaw's good enough. I don't think that's the problem, mate. I mean, I think Luke Shaw's good enough. I've always been a big fan of Luke Shaw, but I think you've got to start boxing a little bit clever in your mind, and he's never going to play Luke Shaw ahead of Ashley Young, so I want Luke Shaw to go. And I like Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw should have been our left back, but Mourinho doesn't. So it doesn't matter. I think he's good enough. But Mourinho doesn't. So the best thing for Manchester United is that we sign a left back. We've got a few people joining a little bit late talking about, asking about Gareth Bale. So Gareth Bale in advanced talks, well, Manchester United in advanced talks with Real Madrid to bring Gareth Bale to Manchester United, and Gareth Bale will have the deciding decision on whether he comes or not. This is from the Manchester Evening News. It's come out in the last hour, and that is effectively what they're saying. It covers a lot of bases, doesn't it? Because if he doesn't come, Gareth Bale decides not to come. If he does come, they were right. But I just don't see why Real Madrid would sell Ronaldo and Gareth Bale. I don't see how United would be in for Bale and then not have been in for Ronaldo. And also it worries me that Manchester United, to do that, are going to need to find 150 million quid, and that's going to mean Martial leaving. And I don't care, that's my opinion, that Martial out for Bale in doesn't... I know it serves Mourinho's purpose because it's short-termism, but it concerns me. Having said that, a front three of Lukaku, Sanchez and Gareth Bale would be pretty sensational, wouldn't it? So, I'm sure I could get over it. I'm sure I could. Maybe we could loan Luke Shaw, says Kato Ellis. Yes, we could. But the difficulty with Luke Shaw is the difficulty with loaning Anthony Martial. They've both got very little time left on their contracts, and they both need to be signing long-term contracts if you want them to have a future at Manchester United. And how can you get players to sign long-term contracts at Manchester United when you're saying I'm loaning you out? They'll probably just say, sod off, I'll go and play somewhere I'm valued. So that's the problem we've got. We've got a number of players next year out of contract, quite a lot of players out of contract next season. Sal Jones and Smalling, says Mazard. I tell you what I would say, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more tonight, is I know Harry Maguire and World Cup. You can't go mad about World Cups, but what you can see is that he's very good in the air, and that doesn't matter about whether he's been good in the World Cup or not. He's good in the air, and that for me would be a reason for Manchester United to go and get Harry Maguire, because we're an embarrassment, aren't we, from corners and set pieces, and he would make us relevant again. He would make us a threat again, because Ashley Young's put crosses into the box. We can put crosses into the box, so we need somebody who's decent in the air. And I think he will leave Leicester, and I think it's good for him to leave Leicester because he's his mid-20s. He should be playing for a top club. You can guarantee he'll probably end up at Spurs, and we'll miss the boat on that. But yeah, I would like him. Keep Martial, not Bale, says Barney. And I'm not reading that, Wilf, but you made me laugh. Shaw is in the last year of his deal, so he can't be loaned. Yes, Manchester Skulls 18, just talking about that. And Mark Torbit says, am I the only one that really doesn't want Bale? Give Martial a proper chance and he can be just as good, if not better. I do agree with that comment. We need a set-piece taker and a captain, says Christopher White. I love hearing all the comments about selling the player, and that player and people have no idea what we would do if we do not have them. Who would replace them, says Kenneth Hoagland. Martial is supposed to get a chance in the US Tour, says Amit Manga. The US Tour is not about giving people a chance for next season. The US Tour is about filling an obligation to go out on a tour and play games. The US Tour is about getting your fitness levels up. The US Tour is not going to be, they had a good tour, let's pick them. Because we've seen that with Mourinho. Players who've had a good US Tour didn't start the first game of the season. So the US Tour is not going to mean anything. It won't do. It really won't. Anyway, give us your comments below. I mean, the US Tour will mean something from the fact that it'll be entertaining and we'll see some young players playing, and we won't see the status quo because they're obviously on their holidays. But I don't think a great US Tour means you're going to be in Mourinho's plans. I really don't. I think he'll be loaning a lot of these young players out. But give us your thoughts below in relation to Gareth Bale. Would you take him at Manchester United? Give us your thoughts on that. And we're back live at 8 o'clock tonight. It's an 8 o'clock show tonight because there's no World Cup. So we're back in the normal 8 o'clock show live at 8. See you all then. Please do drop a like on the video, and I'll see you all at 8 o'clock, and give us your thoughts below.